And we are live. What is up, everybody? Aaron the dog back with just my 2 cents for another UFC breakdown. It's UFC 292 from Boston. Sean O'Malley taking on Aljamain for the main event. Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lemos in the co-main. It's 12 fights now. Kind of has eventually gotten to 12 fights. A lot of cancellations. The end of the Ultimate Fighter, which I just caught up by watching the fights. I didn't watch any of the rest of it, but yeah, we got Cody Gibson taking on Brad Katona. Bunch of other stuff that just seems pay-per-view quality. No, it is pay-per-view quality. Is just my 2 cents. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Great intro there. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Shout out to you and everyone in the chat. Yeah, it's an alright car. Like, it's not bad. I got a few bets, but I'm definitely pumped to talk about it, dude. I think there'll be a couple good spots.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's an interesting card to talk about for sure. Zhang Li, one short of hitting back-to-back weeks there because I went with RDA there. Congratulations on the read 2 cents that brain bleeds are not real.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that was definitely not the way I thought it would go down. That's not the way I thought a Luque win would look, but I will take it.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, ironically, he fought with a brain, which I wouldn't have bet on before or after that beating. So props to you. The nice thing about when you make a bet, especially money line bets, is cash is either way. So
Right.
the decision for Luque with grappling was not on my bingo card. But yeah, we'll talk about the Dirty Dozen here. Interesting lines. I don't give a fuck this week. We'll see what that means. But yeah, it might be. I think we're on the same line here. Jewish Better. Good to have you in the chat, everybody. Going to start at the women's flyweight division with Marina Morose, Karine Silva 2, which went back and watched the first fight. It was fine, I guess. With this fight, I mean, Karine Silva is like kind of like a beginning version of Cheeto Vera in a lot of ways because she's just like a pure finisher, but she's gonna lose a lot of fights along the way when she doesn't kind of get someone to play her game or get a quick knee bar. I think Marina Morose is going to be smart enough to kind of defensively grapple well enough to where Karine's not going to be on top, making her grappling and kind of ground and pound be felt as much. It's going to be on the feet. I think Karine on the feet defensively, very poor. Her offense is her defense. And just overall, I think she's just going to be kind of a step slower than Morose. Morose is going to keep that distance, kind of Chikagi in her to a decision probably. So I would be on Morose's side personally. I know she has less fights, but feels like she fights more experience at the same point. And I get Silva's had a couple interesting finishes, but what happens when the fight doesn't kind of get into that spot? And I think that it's interesting the line is so close here. I think a lot of people are feeling the same way. And then people like Karine here are also, so it's not going to move a whole lot. But I like Morose if I had to pick a side, and haven't bet it yet. I don't think I want to, but yeah, I got Morose decision.
Dude, this is a fight I want nothing to do with. This is a fight that I just want to like close my eyes and hope it goes away. Just because I could see
Karine's fun. I mean, in her first two fights, at least in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like. I don't.
That was so dismissive. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I just never have thought much of Morose. I'm just looking at Silva, like waiting for the ball to drop, I guess, on her. And I don't want anything to do with either side. I definitely won't be betting it. And I'll probably honestly just pick a coin. Is Morose is the underdog, right?
Yeah, she's plus 125 right now.
Yeah, I would think from a betting standpoint, I'm not touching it, but that would be the side if I were to bet it. Just kind of seems like a dogger pass. She does have more experience against a little bit higher level competition, but no, I don't really trust her. Silva, let's see, what's the 5'7", 67 for Marina? and Silva is 5'5", 6". So they're same reach, but Marino will be a little bit taller. Yeah, it's Marino or pass for me. I don't know. I'll probably just flip a coin for the pick. It's not one I care about much.
It's not one I care about. They're plus 125, minus 150 to Kareen here. And yeah, Morose already subbed her once, but I honestly think that, that kind of is a dangerous game because if you trust that back too much, I think Kareen could end up kind of improving in some spots on top door. She doesn't put herself there, but either way, we're not putting it too much on it. I'm definitely not putting too much on this next fight either. Another women's flyweight fight to start out, Andrea Lee versus Natalia Silva. Andrea Lee, 34 years old now, taking on a 26-year-old prospect who's very, very quick on the feet, very good at range particularly. And, Lee, she's going to try to wrestle here. She's going to try to get this into the grappling. I kind of wonder about the speed overall and her gas tank to be able to keep up that kind of game plan for the 3 rounds. And Natalia Silva, I imagine that's what she's been working on as well. So I just, I think Natalia Silva probably keeps it at range and maybe she gets a finish. I think that would be nice, but I'd probably say back-to-back decisions to start out the card. I'll say Natalia Silva here.
I'm actually going to go the other way, my friend. I'm going to take a shot on KGB Lee, if that's still her nickname. I don't know. But it's not really anything but the number and the experience. Like, I understand the fade on Andrea Lee, and I understand, like, not wanting to play this fight at all. But plus 270, dude, I don't think Silva is that much better than Lee, and she definitely hasn't fought any. Lee's not a world beater, but I think she's better. You can maybe argue Jazavicius, but she's better than Bleda and Leonardo for fucking sure. So with that that number, I took a little stab on it.
I get it,
but yeah, it's not my most confident. She was actually the last bet that I added to my slate. I just did it today, but yeah, I'm gonna take a little shot, but yeah, whatever, we'll see.
Yep. I'm not a Natalia Silva believer. Bleda tapped her out, we all know, in the Arkin Dome. That's all I gotta say about that. The line minus 355 on Natalia Silva. If you think I'm putting that into Zhang Li or anywhere else, you're insane, and that's just gross. And plus 280 on Lee. I don't get. What did you get it at?
I bet her at plus 270.
Okay, so good job missing the line there, as usual. Expert in.
I know, story of my life, dude. I wouldn't be 2 cents if I didn't.
I feel like the only time you beat the line is when you're wrong. This is like every other.
I know, right? It's like anytime I'm right, I get a worse line than I could.
You're waiting to miss the line so you can tout the pick. And be like, hey, everybody, check it out. It's gonna hit. There's a method to it. All right, this next fight, Gerald Meerschaert, Andre Petroski. I think I talked about betting this last week, if I'm not mistaken. I bet Gerald Meerschaert at plus 235 last week. It's down to under plus 200 now at plus 195. With this fight, it's not one I'm super confident in the more I look into it, if I'm being honest here, because Gerald Meerschaert is really good at wrestling and grappling when you're really bad at wrestling and grappling. But if you're competent in those things to where you're not going to allow Gerald to get his game going, I think that Petroski could end up maybe subbing him, actually, which I don't want to admit. But I got to stick with my boy Gerald Meerschaert here. I think he does have a little bit better striking of the two of them and can kind of surprise Andre Petroski, which you've seen in a few fights, even fights he's won where he's been surprised with the strikes. And I do think that Meerschaert always live for a sub against anybody who's kind of this level of the middleweight division. So I'm going to stick with Meerschaert here. I just don't, and this is kind of didn't trust the line. I didn't agree with the line. And the level of competition isn't even in the same universe when your best win is like Nicholas Maximov. You got ninja choked by Brian Battle. There's just, I think that Mearshart can find the sub, even because I think Petroski might be more confident in that realm since he's been doing this grappling, even though he's been not successful in a lot of it. So I like GM3. I liked him at plus 235. I get he's plus 195 now. But yeah, it's all over the place, this fight, because it's the middleweight division. And we'll talk about the middleweight division 2 more times tonight, and both those fights are sketchy as fuck too. This is the least sketchy, and they're all sketchy. So I got GM3. Submission for the culture.
Now, dude, this isn't actually a bad fight for early prelims, honestly. Like, it seems like it could be like on a fight night card. It seems like it could be like a main card opener or something. But anyways, yeah, dude. I mean, this joke just is like writing itself. Like, I am on GM3, and once again, I fucking missed the line. I caught it before it dipped under 200. Thank the fuck Christ. I bet GM3 at plus 200. But I think the line is just off. Like, I'm not saying that Petroski shouldn't be the favorite, but like, should he be the favorite? Like, GM3 is like
a little bit of a favorite, sure.
Like a little bit, yeah, that's fine.
This is a lot bit.
A lot of bit, yeah. Too much a bit for me. Yep. So yeah, I took a shot on GM3, and like, he seems to be a reasonably popular underdog this week, but I feel like it's for good reason.
Tournament play was terrible.
Yeah, like,
and GM3 is like a few steps above Tournament. That's how bad Tournament is. No offense to GM3.
No, definitely. Like, I know that Tournament. I'm pretty sure that Tournament is going to have a better cardio. I don't know.
This is a great call. You're probably going to get a better live bet on Gerald Mearshart as well, because he's going to probably be losing till he wins. So just pick your timing.
Yeah, and if he does win, this will be classic, where like I'm on the right side, but I just was like a dumbass about like getting it at the best like line or whatever, the right spot. But no, I think he's going to have a better cardio. I think, like you said, that was a great point about the striking. I do think he's going to be a little bit better of a striker. I think he uses,
which people will probably laugh about, but like, Petroski is not a Golden Gloves champion. Like,
no, he's not. I mean,
really not.
I'm glad, dude. Joe Pyfer is a big tough guy, and he'll clean your clock for you.
He also beat him in grappling. Poor Gerald.
No, like, I mean, Petroski ain't no Joe Pyfer. So like, he's a T-Rex dude, wrestler that swings overhands, and like, I think Mearshart is a little too crafty for Petroski. I don't think he's necessarily quite the level of competition of some of the dudes that have beaten Mearshart. He's lost to varying levels of competition, but I like his experience here. I like the cardio. I like the variety of striking. And hey, I'm not like, I'm not the biggest like, oh, this guy's a certain belts, so he's automatically going to be better. But like, Mearshart's a legit black belt, and if Petroski gets tired and he shoots the sloppy takedown, oh buddy, he might just get front choked or guillotined or something. So yeah, give me Mearshart here.
The second time.
Yeah, I think Mearshart is a super live underdog in this spot, and I don't even know if he should necessarily be the dog. So yeah, fuck yeah, let's go GM3, and yeah, a bunch of people on him, but let's go, baby, let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride. Early on, he's the one who I'm considering adding to the Zhang. I won't update anymore till the end. I know Lou Betcha loves the Zhang parlay, which almost hit 2 straight weeks, Lou. Right? So just saying, I think one of these days it's going to be the Wong Betcha parlay, but not this week. All right, we're to a championship fight, 3 5-minute rounds at 135. Brad Katona taking on Cody Gibson. 35-year-old, almost 36-year-old full-time teacher with a knee injury, Cody Gibson, taking on Brad Katona, who his like 4 or 5 fights from Brave take almost 2 hours to watch on YouTube. So a few decisions, late guillotine in there. He's a very technical, well-rounded fighter, though. And he's never like in too much danger in his fights. Never been finished. He does have a loss to Hunter Ezer, which ages like milk. But he also, lost to Mirab, and that's it. He went on to Brave. Both guys have fought a good level of competition. I'll really be honest, but I think that the final was the semifinal when we watched Tamir and Brad fight, and Cody Gibson took on some guy named Rocco, who was like, I slipped, and then he got choked out. It was not great. Cody Gibson, he's just happy to be here. He's soaking it all in, and he's going to lose. Probably gets submitted by Katona, but maybe Katona gets another decision to add to his belt. But either way, I don't have a line available at this time, but I would assume Brad Katona is going to be a significant favorite, minus 200 or so.
Yeah, that's pretty much the read I have on it. I don't feel super duper strongly about this fight. Dude, to me, this fight is tough in a nutshell. This is like a microcosm of tough. It's like a fucking comedy movie or something. Brad Katona wins tough into the UFC, gets rejected, back around to tough, probably gonna beat Gibson and be back in the UFC. Like, what in the fuck is this? It is shenanigans.
Cody has a torn MCL.
Oh God, yeah, Katona by something.
I'm not a big press conference person, but I did have the press conference on in the background today, and they were asking Cody about this knee injury, and he went, "Oh, the UFC gave me stem cells, and now when people ask me about the knee injury, I'm like, which knee? I forget it's just that good." So I guess it's healed. Which, what do I know? I doubted brain injuries last week. What do I know? I mean, but either way, Brad Katona throws a lot of leg kicks as well, so I don't think a TKO is out of the realm. And I'm sure if the props become available, a Brad Katona TKO probably is priced pretty well just based on his reputation. And he's had like 17 weeks to get ready for this fight, which is I think a bigger advantage for him than Cody. I don't think Cody's going to fight any different than he ever does, but Cody has fought good competition. He's upset some of that good competition, but the Cerebro guys who kind of mix it all together, he's always struggled against, and he's not getting any younger. $0.02?
Yo.
Any thoughts?
Oh no, I don't have too much on this. I'm probably gonna. I got Katona. Official pick is Katona by something like decision, like you said, maybe submission. But no, I'm not gonna bet it. Like, Katona seems like he would be a solid parlay piece, but like I said, this is kind of just a joke, and like tough is a joke, and like just
he's a lot shorter, a lot smaller, so the range could be an issue too to close that distance. But
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, he just seems to be one of those guys that, like you said, cerebral. He finds a way to win the rounds and win the minutes, and just kind of, I think we'll get it done.
Yep, agreed. All right, moving on to 155. We got Kurt Polibo taking on Austin Hubbard. 36-31. Let's run it back again. Here, I think it pretty much comes down to if Thud Hubbards, he's going to take some damage in that first round, maybe even be down one round, and then pour it on as the fight goes on. And the thing that I think Kurt's going to have to do in this fight is pressure with the wrestling. And if he's successful with that, I think he can kind of continue to be successful with it. It's what's beaten Austin Hubbard in the past. I also do think that striking-wise, Kurt is sharper, particularly with the punches. I think Austin has good leg kicks, good kind of teeps and things to the body and whatnot, but I do think Kurt can hurt him early on, and the finishing upside is definitely on Kurt's side. Austin can obviously get that kind of technical decision, outlast him, but I think Kurt is going to come in here hungrier and either snatch up a submission or I think he finishes this inside the distance overall. But I like Kurt either way. I'm surprised that he's plus 150. I think this should be a closer line fight. I think these guys are pretty similar, and I just, I do see there's a way for Austin to win the fight, but I think the finishing upside and overall moments are going to be won by Kurt, and I think that he's more effective striker, at least. Maybe not the sharper striker, but more effective. So, and on the ground, I think he's more live for the submission. So I like Kurt, but it's a veteran fight, not expecting anybody to get too far behind this one.
Yeah, this is a weird one, man. It's a tough one for me to call. Another one where it's like 2 second chancers. I am a little bit higher on Hubbard, I guess, than some people. But Hollowbow is live to me. I guess the problem for me with like pulling and I was tempted to bet Kurt, but the problem for me when I went to pull the trigger is like, I don't know, man. I thought Austin kind of lost that Roberts fight. I think that's great. Of like I think I don't know. It just feels like they're kind of like pushing him through. I could be wrong about that. I'm going to pick Austin Hubbard. That's just kind of like my feeling. I think Hollowbow is definitely a live dog. Hubbard has never really like I said, I've maybe been higher on him than some people. And maybe I'm just being a little too high on him right now, but I'm going to pick Hubbard. Just feel like Hollowbow might even win it and they'll just rob him. That's like, I think it'll be a super close fight. Hubbard tends to fight close with people. He's a well-rounded dude, but isn't really great at anything. Hollowbow, I think, will be a little bit better of a striker, but I just feel like Hubbard will make it kind of an ugly fight. I don't know, man. I feel like Hollowbow is definitely a live dog, but I'm going to pick Hubbard and not bet a fucking cent on it.
Yeah, I bet Hollowbow at plus 145. He's at plus 150 now, so the 2 cent special. Minus 180 on Hubbard. I do just think that I think that the judges are favoring more and more kind of the more effective person as opposed to minute winner. So I do think that things that Hubbard's been kind of successful with are getting less and less valued, but we'll see here. I mean, again, Hollowbow is almost 37 years old, so the time is now, but yeah.
We'll I think it's a pretty good bet because he does hit harder than Hubbard. So yeah, if that's true, then yeah, he could definitely and probably will win the moments.
Yep, and now we're at a fight I've been dreading talking about. These guys both hit hard, and unfortunately for kind of both of them, but more for Gregory Robocop Rodriguez, he keeps trying to hit and leaves that chin exposed, and when the chin starts to go, it starts to go quickly. He got absolutely flatlined against a guy he was a minus 300 favorite against, who all he had to do is not be a big, tough guy and stand and bang. And he stood and banged and got absolutely sparked out pretty badly. He's in another fight here against Dennis Tolulin. Dennis Tolulin has decent wrestling defense, and it's probably gotten better and better because he knows that that's where he doesn't want the fight. If the fight gets down to the ground and Robocop commits to it, he's going to submit him. Is he going to do that? That's what you have to decide to bet on. Otherwise, it becomes probably like a minus 150 or closer fight, honestly. If they're just if we knew they were going to just stand trade, I don't know what you would line the fight at, but it'd be very close, especially with the damage Robocop continues to take. I'm nervous about this. I don't like the line at all, obviously. And yeah, I mean, if Robocop loses to Dennis, I agree it is over. But at the same point, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm picking Robocop by submission because I'm trusting that he has a brain, but we haven't seen it in a very long time. So if they stand and trade, it's a pick 'em fight or, around there. So I'm nervous about this one because the line, even the sub prop, it's, plus 250 or so. So he hasn't been smart in a long time. So, but I think he's so much better in the grappling. Against Petroski, he showed it. Not enough, but Tolulin, I think he's going to commit to it. But He could also gas himself out and leave himself exposed to getting kind of sparked. Like a second round Dennis Tolulin KO wouldn't surprise me if Gregor Rodriguez is trying so hard for the takedowns, struggles for him, finally gets them and expects to get it kind of finished and doesn't. So I'm nervous about the chin, man. I'm always going to be now, forever.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. This could possibly be fight of the night, but I'm thinking it's going to more be like performance of the night, because your point is taken with RoboCop. I think he is certainly the better submission grappler. It just seems like he likes to go to the striking. Like, I'm looking at his Tapology right now. I mean, I remember all his UFC fights, but I'm even looking at the fights before. Like, he likes to fucking bang it out, dude. Like, let's see. To be, for the record, I am on Dennis Tolulin. I'm picking Dennis Tolulin. I'm betting Dennis Tolulin. But yeah, RoboCop is, yeah, there's like a couple submissions back in the day. Definitely more than on the UFC level. But yeah, he's another guy like Al Matavao, Frimed, and then he went to the UFC. But yeah, he's just another guy that, like, he does have a straight path to victory here. Tolulin has, that's how he loses. He's been submitted for.
Tolulin hits hard.
He does. He hits hard, and he does not mind trading in the phone booth. So yeah, that's why I bet Tolulin. This is another fight where, yeah, sure, Rodriguez should be the favorite. I think he's fought and beaten a slightly higher level of competition, maybe, but he doesn't fight smart, and there's a pattern with him. And you dude, you said it. Like, he's a hard guy to trust whether he's going to go to the grappling or not. Like, if he does go to the grappling, yeah, he's going to win. He's probably going to choke Tolulin. But you look at all his fights, like, he likes to be a tough guy, and like, Tolulin is tough. He will stand there and trade in the pocket with RoboCop, and I think he's going to do that and fucking knock him out. So I bet Tolulin at plus 275. But I didn't go too heavy on it. I actually had to pull back a little bit because I was like, man, Tolulin's going to win. I feel great about this. It's like a gut read. You know, RoboCop got put in a fucking coffin back in January. Like, man, I'm feeling good about this. I'm going to, add Tolulin to this parlay and that parlay. I'm like, no. I think the line is enough. Plus 275. That's got all the nice shit baked into it. And I'll just go with that one single bet. But yeah, it's a good fight, man. This could be fight of the night, or end up being performance of the night for one of these barrages. But I like it, dude. I'm kind of pumped for this one.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it. And yeah, it kills me. But like, yeah, I can't trust RoboCop at minus 355. Plus 280 on Dennis would be the only option here. But either way, yeah, the under 2.5 or under 1.5 is minus 200. They're expecting this over quickly. So we'll see. But I'm going to be nervous for this. I'm always nervous for RoboCop fights, and now he's fighting on a, not even on a featured prelim, because we have the 39-year-old Bane-masked Chris Weidman taking on the 35-year-old, not very dangerous Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares with 2 KOs, and the rest of his fights coming by decision that he's won. Chris Weidman, no KOs since 2015, broke his leg. He's been knocked out at 205. I know this middleweight cut is not easy for him, and he's now 39 years old. He's been off for a little bit. Brad Tavares, can he really be this trusted? I don't really know. Either way, like, Moist saying Brad round 3 KO. Okay, I'm going to steal Moist's pick here. Brad Tavares round 3 KO will be my pick. I just don't think Chris Weidman coming back at 39 years old is a good idea. He's been broken for a long time. Reyes broke him. Others have broken. I don't like this fight from a betting perspective at all either. So, Brad Tavares, but if you get Chris Weidman, congratulations.
Dude, why are y'all trying to steal my pick? But dude, yeah, this is. I don't know why Chris Weidman is coming back. Honestly, I mean, I guess I can understand in a vacuum, but
In a vacuum.
in a vacuum, but he didn't break like that. That's taking out this horrific leg injury. Like,
All the KOs.
who has come back successfully from that? Not fucking Anderson Silva. Connor's
Tavares has 2 knockouts. No, you're not listening.
like, dude, and the shit he's talking, like, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna be champion. It's like, oh my
He's
god,
been saying this for 6 years.
dude. I think the writing's on the wall. I just have a bad feeling that this is just. I don't want
Tavares
anything.
is gonna look like a young 35-year-old.
It's dude. God. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable betting Tavares. I'm certainly not doing that. But if you're asking me who I'm picking, it will be Brad Tavares without a doubt. He's just going to be the slightly less horrifically fucked up in the leg fighter. You know, like that's about all.
Yeah, and also Brad Tavares usually throws leg kicks. That's a good point.
Oh God,
every leg kick is gonna be like, oh, like the whole crowd.
Dude, could you imagine if it's 2 in a row? Oh my God, the memes, the agony, oh God.
The memes sounds like another Tony Ferguson. Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, this is just not a great fight. The more I talk about it, the more I want to bet Brad Tavares somehow, though.
He re-broke it. Could you? Oh my God!
We're on to the main card in Blackshear. They put on the main card over these. Yeah, that's the level of this card. That's all I'm saying. Blackshear on 1 week's notice, coming in for a 135 fight as of now. I'll be interested to see if they agree to a flat catchweight at some point. Taking on Mario Batista. Blackshear, again, I just talked about him a week ago. I'm not going to really talk too much about him again. He went in there, just dominated with the grappling, looked really good. On the feet, he's got some pop and everything like that, but Mario Batista, the much sharper striker, especially with, again, the leg kicks, and the parlay man himself, Zhang Li, in the building. What up, sir? Almost back-to-back weeks there. Mario said no catch weight. He takes a percentage of Blackshear. Okay, fair enough. So Mario's being brutal here. I think that's every right to be so, though. At the same point, I don't think he needs to make too many, amends because I do think Blackshear can make this close. But at the same point, I just think Batista's just much better on the feet, much better just overall. But he is older, which is interesting. I feel like Blackshear has a little bit more experience, especially outside of the UFC. But at the same point, I think that Batista locked in here should be good. But I don't love the change on 1 week notice. Devon didn't take any damage in that last fight, so the only damage is the back-to-back weight cuts, which is definitely some damage. But I think Mario's aware of that, and I think Mario does win this fight. Devon's hard to finish, man. So this could get real sketchy if it goes to the scorecards too. So could be a split candidate, but I'm going to edge with Batista. Not going to bet it too heavy.
I don't blame you, and I agree that it could definitely be a split. I honestly really don't know how to feel about this. Part of me wants Blackshear to win. Like, oh, dude, this would be sick if he comes back like a week after winning a historic submission victory. Like, part of me wants that for the how crazy would it be if that happens kind of feeling. But yeah, if I really kind of step back and think about it, I feel like Batista probably wins. It's one that I tempted to bet Blackshear, but for the pick, I'm gonna kind of just go with Batista. I think Batista, a little bit more experience, had the UFC level, a little bit better of a striker. Although I do think Blackshear is a good striker. They match up reasonably well. I just don't. I don't really know if it's the weight cut necessarily, but something about the 2 weeks or the week turnaround, I just feel like, whether subconsciously or not, like I just feel like Blackshear is gonna kind of go for it early, and then Batista's gonna take over. So yeah, give me Batista by pretty clear, like 29-28, maybe 30-27.
All right, fair enough. I don't see a line available right now, but I imagine Batista will be a significant favorite.
Dude, that's weird. There weren't many fights on this card to begin with, and like they added 2 at the last minute, and then they don't have shit up for the lines. It's like they just piece the shit together. It's
very sketchy. This next fight could get very sketchy. This could be a split decision type of fight because that's what Marlon Vera does. He drops round 1 and then he makes it close throughout. Overall, I just think that Pedro Munoz, it's getting close to the end here. In my opinion, I think this is another 36, almost 37-year-old. We're going to find out where a lot of these guys are at, and in the bantamweight division, that is pretty damn old, and it's kind of hard for me to ignore that. I think that Vera is going to go in wanting to finish Pedro Munoz. I think especially on a card where he's seeing the guy who's headlining a guy who he beat. I do think that Cheeto is going to start quicker. He's got to start quicker at some point. Now, I'm going to bet it comes in a fight like this where he is going to be actually quicker and younger, better, more powerful. So I think it could get, to a point where if Pedro Munoz is fighting really intelligent, gets the range down in that first round, I could start to get nervous. But I just think that it's going to be predominantly on the feet. I think Vera's going to land something and put away Munoz late in round 2 or round 3. So I like Marlon Vera. I'm a Marlon Vera believer. Marlon Vera and RoboCop, I would have been convinced they'd both be on the Zhang Li. We'll see if Marlon Vera makes it. RoboCop did not, but I got Marlon Vera by KO.
I like it, dude. I am on the Cheeto side as well. I am maybe not quite as high on Cheeto, or haven't been historically, but I agree with what you said about Munoz. Like, I think he's getting towards the end. I don't think he's going to go out there and look like, terrible or anything, but I think this is going to look a little bit closer to the Rob Font fight. Like, I understand it's 3 rounds. That's, would normally be a concern for Cheeto, but I think he is kind of going to light Pedro Munoz up. Munoz is one of those guys where he kind of has, the way he kind of gets his stuff going, I think Cheeto is just going to, he's a little bit longer, and because of his physical attributes, he'll get there quicker. And I do see him kind of like hurting Munoz. Like, Pedro's a tough dude. He doesn't really get knocked out that often, but I could see Cheeto doing it. I think this could be the time. So yeah, I don't mind that Cheeto KO at all. I may go Cheeto by decision, but I think that he seems like one of the more solid parlay pieces this week, honestly. Like, I'm not betting him. I'm going underdogs for my slate this week.
Munoz has never been finished.
Yeah, that's true. He's a tough dude.
Yep.
He's an old
That's
leather
where
dude.
if it goes to decision, I still think Vera does enough to win a decision here.
Yeah, and the thing about Cheeto is, like, he's kind of an old
Cheeto. Yep, good point.
Yeah. Cheeto's, yeah, exactly. Like, he's an old leather boot, and he's kind of like a take one to give one. He's a dude that's like, oh yeah, beat on me. Like, yeah, come here. Yeah, come on. Keep going. Like, yeah, keep hitting me. And then boom. So I could see something like that happen. Like, maybe he doesn't knock Munoz out, but like he wins the round with the big moment. Like, he wobbles him. I've seen Pedro wobbled a few times, and I can see Cheeto doing that. So yeah, give me Cheeto by decision, or maybe late TKO.
Yep. Hopefully it's a performance tonight, not fight of the night, because I don't want to be nervous for a Cheeto fight. But next fight, short notice replacement. Once again, Ian Machado Gary, who is a -500 favorite at this point, taking on Neil Magny, the ultimate gatekeeper. I do think. So with this fight, I like Ian Gary, but it's kind of irrelevant to me because at this price, it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm trying to take my shot on the method. I personally think he's going to expose the grappling here of Neil Magny, and I think he can snatch up something with it, snatch up some sort of choke on Neil Magny, even because I do think Neil's going to look to really wrestle a lot in this fight throughout because I don't think Neil really wants to keep this at striking range for the most part. I also think that, the judo black belt takedowns could be there. I'm always saying that as well. Ian Gary by sub looks like a pretty popular Furio. I always like being on the same side as Furio, so that's good. Yeah, Ian Gary by sub is my shot here. I don't think he should make this look very difficult.
Yeah, I can't really say much better than that, brother man. Ian Gary's the side for me, for sure. He's the pick, absolutely on Tapology. But the money line it's become, as they say, prohibitive a little bit.
They're forcing you to prop hunt.
Exactly. So it's like pick your prop, whichever you feel the most confident about. That seems to be the way to go. That seems to be the most natural course here. If you it just feels like Gary's going to win somehow, some way. It seems like it's Jeff Neal was a way more interesting fight. What do we really got here? But Neil Magny, it's like that's a little bit more teed up for Gary to do something. But yeah,
lost a few steps.
Yeah, it does, man. He won his last fight, but I think that Gary's a little bit faster than Rowe. I think he's pretty sharp and explosive. I think he'll hurt Magny. I could see him knocking him out. It's just kind of I don't feel confident myself enough to be like, oh, I know he's going to knock him out, or I know he's going to club and sub him or whatever. But I do think he gets it done somehow, some way. Gary.
Yep. Yeah, plus 650 is the best price I've seen on the sub price, but yeah, it is all over the place. I think it's plus 450 or something, or plus 550 maybe over on DraftKings when I looked. But should be a good performance or fight, hopefully. Co-main event time. I think this co-main event is it's a good fight, honestly. Amanda Lemos, she's got really good power, especially in this division, as does Weili Zhang. Lemos has kind of had her moments where the grappling kind of disappeared, like the Andrade fight, and that's why, to me, this is a similar kind of position, except she's a minus 310, so you can parlay her if you want, but there are definitely spots, especially in the first two rounds for Lemos, where I'm going to be nervous because if Weili is standing and trading, struggles to get the takedowns or overexerts on the takedowns, kind of leaving herself defensively more viable, Amanda can put her away. I really do believe that, but I think the better overall MMA fighter, the quicker fighter, she's not much younger. She's a few years younger. Much better cardio as the 5 rounds go will be Weili Zhang, but Lemos could, definitely put her away, and it makes me nervous at this price. But Zhang has to be in the Zhang Li parlay because I don't have a lot of choices on this card, but she is one of my more nervous kind of people. So, yeah, go ahead, 2 cents, and then I'll get to the comment here.
Right on. Yeah, this is. I like it for the co-main event and a card that's was really pieced together at the last second. It's not bad. And I agree with you. I think Lemos is live early, but Weili seems like the better fighter overall. I took a stab on Lemos. It was kind of just like a gut feeling. I could see this being maybe an upset spot where Lemos really isn't the better fighter, but she kind of catches Weili. Weili's been caught before. She got clipped by Rose, and I don't know, man. That could be more of a situation where it's okay, Rose just has her number. But I can see Lemos clipping her in the first round or two. I think she's, like you said, dangerous early. But I think that's really her path. So this is kind of like a hedge spot for me. The official pick is Weili, but I took a little stab on Lemos at plus 270. She's a pretty good fighter. I think it should probably be she should probably be like the plus 200 dog. So like a little bit over that. Yeah, I'll take a little poke. But nah, overall I think Wiley's a little bit better, and she should get it done. If Lemos gasses, she will be in trouble. So yeah, official pick Wiley, little poke on Lemos.
Yeah, and Zhang is there to be hit. I agree, Furio. I don't mind you taking the stab at all. Volcon, we are both on Mearshart. I got him at plus 235 last week, and 2 cents also at plus 200. So, yeah, we're confident enough to bet him. And overall, I don't think that the striking is out of the realm for Mearshart to be better at. I do think his cardio is better, and I think the submission could be there later in the fight as well. So, yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on that one. But it was earlier. But, yeah, we do both have Mearshart, and he might be appearing in a certain parlay that we're going to be talking about after next fight. So, yeah, no problem, man. All right. Yeah, the line minus 310 against Lemos. I get that's rough. So, Furio, I understand taking the shot. Plus 250 on the underdog, Amanda Lemos. So, we're on to the main event. This main event just is, it sketches me out, man. It is one where there is a lot of narrative attached to it. And it just feels like more so than usual. It feels like this fight was rushed to happen when it needed to happen, and that is more of it a disadvantage. That guy with neck issues who doesn't like making 135. At the same point, while Sterling hasn't had the best wrestling takedowns in his last few fights, I do think against someone like Sean O'Malley, if he gets him down early, this could be ended very quickly. And, I just think that Sterling has to have an idea that he's going to have to win it by such a unanimous rate that not going for the finish just seems stupid to me. So I think it's the night of submissions. I think we're going to have a lot of submissions on this card, apparently, as I'm talking about it. So it's like a head and, it's like a brain and like other side of my brain thoughts here, because I think Aljamain by sub seems like it makes the most sense. Well, at the same point, O'Malley knocking him out wouldn't shock me either later into the fight. Like, if Sterling really overexerts himself, whether it's with the weird striking plan that sometimes he comes in with where he just throws everything and tires himself out, or if he's just really, overexerting on the takedowns. Maybe O'Malley's somehow improved in the 2 years he's had off or whatever since his last fight. But either way, it does sketch me out. I'm going to say Sterling by sub, but not at all confident here. It's a weird fight.
It is a weird fight, dude. So this is another one where, like the co-main, I'm betting one way and picking the other. The official pick is Aljamain Sterling. I think he is most likely going to BMF Sean O'Malley, as you like to say. You just be the better MMA fighter, and that's something that I'll give Sterling credit for. Like I did not like how he initially got the belt because he was getting the living shit beaten out of him by Jan. But since he's gotten it, he's fought pretty smart. Like he's realized, okay, I am the better grappler. I can take this dude down, backpack him, bank this round, maybe do it again and again. And to his credit, like that's how he's kept the belt. This fight is a little bit different though. So I am taking another like Lemos. I'm taking a poke on O'Malley because if it is on the feet, like he is the better striker, clearly. Like I don't think anybody would really argue that. That's not a hot take at all. Like Sean O'Malley is a better striker than Sterling. So if it is, this is a big if. If it is on the feet, Jan had success with the boxing and the striking, but what makes O'Malley different is like he has a little bit more reach. And for Sterling to close
the new rules is a good point with the stalling and what refs stand up now.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a good point. So I don't know. I think like the most logical thing, like you mentioned about like this, the part of your brain thinking a certain way. Like there is a certain part it's like, okay, Sterling is just going to take O'Malley down and choke him. Like that seems like the most like direct A to B
square play, but whatever. Yeah.
But like, dude, if they're standing and if Sean can make Sterling, like if he can fight his ego and make Sterling want to trade with him, and I think that's the best way. That seems like the smartest game plan for Sean is to like sprawl and brawl and fight Sterling's ego and kind of like, taunt him a little bit. It's going to be Boston. He's going to have that Irish crowd behind him, and they're going to be drunk and rowdy. And it's weird too, because like O'Malley's from like the Mountain West, like he's from Arizona, and like started his amateur careers in like fucking Montana, and like he's not from that side of the country at all. That's like more like Sterling's backyard geographically, but they're like, nah, O'Malley's Irish. We're making it in Boston. It's like, god damn, dude. Like
O'Malley's got that home crowd advantage.
God, it's so yeah. I don't know. You said it about the narrative, man. That's why it's like I'm not getting too heavily involved. But yeah, a little poke on O'Malley at plus 210. You mentioned the O'Malley KO. He could clip him, man. Like Jan sat him down. Marlon Moraes sent him to that old realm.
Realm.
So yeah, dude, we'll see what happens. This is the one fight that, like, other than Rodriguez Tolulin, kind of gets my pulse racing a little bit. Like, I just kind of want to see what happens, but it could very well be just like a Sterling fucking backpack fest. And then, dude, Jan has ridiculous sub defense, like ristonkulous. He doesn't get enough credit for his takedown or sub defense, but I don't know if O'Malley, if he gets put in those spots, he might get the fucking choke put to him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. This is just not a fight that maybe the under 4.5 I could get behind, but at the same point, I also feel like the O'Malley plus 900 decision is more tempting to me. I don't know. Like it just feels like O'Malley is bound to win this fight. I don't know why. So, all right, Zhang Li parlay time. We got a couple dogs in it and a few juice favorites because I couldn't get away from them. I went back and forth here, honestly, between Marina Morose and Kurt Holobaugh. Wow. But either way, I also could put Brad Katona in there, but I don't really trust him either. So I'm going to put Morose in there to start out, plus 125. Plus 195 Mearshart makes it in there. I'm trusting the youth of the 35-year-old Brad Tavares at minus 270. Gross. Minus 200, Cheeto Vera, and minus 310, Wiley Zhang for the Zhang Li, which pays out plus 1,700. Putting $20 down on it right now to pay me out 360. So put down 5, put down whatever you want on it, but almost hit back-to-back weeks. But either way, this is one I am not holding my breath that it hits, but at the same point, it's the Zhang Li, so we do it for the culture. Yeah, it covers a lot of outcomes. I agree. Sterling decision feels like a low percentage to me. I would hope so. But yeah. I mean, hey, I had to take 5, so yeah, I'm taking Brad Tavares. But, it is what it is. Chris Weidman going to win that. I'll remember this next week either way. So shout out to the chat. Appreciate you, Lubetia, Furio, Stubborn Mick, Justin, Noah, Moise, Alex, everybody who showed up and showed the support. Zen Monkey, appreciate you guys all. In 2 cents, appreciate you. What you got the rest of the week?
Dude, thank you so much for having me once again. I apologize for all the audio issues, even before the stream started. So yeah, sorry if that was rough for anybody in the chat or you. Sorry about that. But nah, man, thanks again for having me. Best of luck to everyone. I'm very pumped for the Zhang Li. We'll definitely be tailing that for the culture. And yeah, for me, it's all underdogs, just straight bets on Lee, GM3, Tolulin, Lemos, and Sean O'Malley. So let's go with those.
Heads with Wiley Zhang and the Zhang Li.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love that.
Hopefully it's
so
live.
Yeah, dude, it's been so close, boys. But let's fucking go. Let's cash that Zhang Li this week. That'd be sweet. But yeah, man, thanks again for having me. Best luck to you and everyone else. And yeah, good luck, boys.
Yep. Good luck, everybody. And real quick, actually, I'm going to go and just give a real quick LFA breakdown. So 2 cents. If you want to drop out for a second, that's all good. Appreciate you, man. I'll see you next week.
Cool.
But going to do this just on the fly real quick because this LFA is headlined by Daniel Compton and Renato Volante. So that kind of lets you know the level of this LFA. I love LFA as much as the next guy, but I just think that this is one that we're going to go through pretty quickly. I'm not going to open up everybody's typology pages either here. The Mongolian Uran Sadabaladiev taking on a 5-4 Brazilian. Uran, a very good striker, as well as with the wrestling. I think he's going to overwhelm his opponent, put him away. It's going to be a huge, huge favorite. Then you have a 1-0 strawweight taking on a 3-1 decent grappler, and I believe in Rosales. I guess I'll take Rosales by the experience, but I would have to look more into it, and I'm not going to. Leandro Soares coming off of performance on Uriah Faber's fight card against Inar Hernandez, where really, really sold out for the takedowns. Very muscular guy at 125, makes a big cut, and at 39 years old, definitely starting to slow down. Eduardo Henrique hasn't fought since 2022. I do think he's the more well-rounded guy, but I could see Leandro taking this fight, upsetting it. It's at 130, so less of a weight cut as well. But Zhang Li was here today. I stopped by earlier, and then Alex, what up? And then you being Zhang Li, you're good. And then, Zhang Li did make an appearance earlier. But, moving on. Henrique, if he's a significant favorite, I might think about a shot on Soares. Otherwise, I'm probably going to leave it alone. Alan Bagoso taking on a 4-2 Christian Giovanni. Alan Bagoso is going to get back on track after 2 setbacks against higher levels of competition. I think he most likely gets the submission. Good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but either way, Bagoso is going to be a huge favorite. Randall Wallace is taking on Wallace Lopez. Randall Wallace should be able to expose the grappling of Wallace Lopez at some point and get the submission, most likely by a guillotine choke. And main event, Daniel Compton, Renato Volante. Renato Volante's got some hands, man. Very, very good. Soares is plus 376. Interesting. I would think about that one, maybe. I'd wait to weigh and see how we're looking, but that's interesting to me. Enrique, I'm not sold on, but we'll see. Daniel Compton, Renato Volante. I think this is a good main event. It's a clash of styles. Volante, I really do rate his stand-up pretty well, but overall his game leaves a little bit to be desired for me. So coming into this fight, I don't know. Compton, I just think has more of the dog in him, but I think he could give up a little bit too much early on. But with Volante, let me see. Has he been submitted? Because I do like Compton's submission game, and Volante has never been submitted. Gone against some pretty good levels of opponents too, and the guys he's lost to. Mark Martin, I get that doesn't age well with the split decision with Nair Lopez. Not a terrible result there. Josh Fremd and Azamat Bakiev gave good fights too. They were supposed to fight in June. The fight was canceled due to an injury I think it was just moved actually. I like Daniel Compton to slightly edge out here. I do think that both guys have finishing ability as well, so not sure with regards to if I'll have a bet on Compton or not. If he's at plus money, I'll think about it for sure. But that's my overall thoughts on this one. Randall Wallace and Bagoso get it done easily, in my opinions, as is Uran. With Soares and Henrique, I think that's a closer fight than a lot of people would think, even with the age difference. I just think Soares is going to sort, but and then Randall Wallace gets it done easily as well. And then Daniel Compton, I'm edging in the main event. So that's my quick little LFA breakdown there. I'll put in the community tab my PFL thoughts because PFL just doesn't deserve any part of a video. So that's my thoughts for MMA for the week. I'll put my community picks for the PFL and any other thoughts I have. Just shoot me a DM. I'm happy to talk to you. Wallace Bagoso parlay for the limit. I agree. Furio, he's got to jump on these spots with LFA that are kind of more rare than they used to be. But appreciate you guys, Furio. Always good to talk to you, man. Always good to see you in the chat. Just my 2 cents. Sir Mick, Noah, all y'all. Appreciate you. I'll see you next week. Good luck this weekend. Peace. Clean hour.